guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is davarenemay and I've been on and off here for a couple of years. Our original channel is the DG family, but I also am a content creator on Instagram, and then I just started my TikTok last year, so davarenemay G on that platform. But yeah, let's get into it. So today we are going to talk about my spirituality and how I found it. Or as some may say, my spiritual awakening. Whatever you guys want to call it and whatever term you use for it, it has just been a crazy roller coaster. So let's get into it. I'm going to share with you guys my journey and how it all started. So back in December of 2020, I was going through something really hard, and that is what shifted my entire life. One night I was literally crying on my bedroom floor and asking God to just help me. It was just one of those nights where I was done, I've had it. It's almost as if I ran out of resources and people to go to, and like, not that I don't depend on God, like I pray every single day. I was just crying to God, asking Him to please help me, send something, any kind of sign or help. Or looking back at it, like, I'm grateful to have overcome that time. And I would definitely say, no matter what obstacles I'm thrown in my life, my children are what push me and motivate me to get through them. The following morning, I woke up. I was just scrolling through my phone, typical morning. You wake up, do your mommy duties, do what you need to do, pee, brush your teeth, all of that. Went on my phone, and like all of a sudden, like my algorithm was just like throwing me all these signs, and it's like crystals. The Jay Shetty book had just come out, his first book. That kept popping up in my feed, and I was like, okay. It had a lot of spiritual Buddhism stuff, and I just read like a summary of it. So I was like, okay, this seems interesting. And prior to this, my family practiced Buddhism. The past few years, I would like read into it and then stop. So I wouldn't dive into it per se. Like, I would just read like a gist of it. I'd chant the Nam-myoho Renge-kyo because Nichiren Buddhism from Japan is what they practice. So I would just chant that. I noticed like, this book had a bit about Buddhism, so I was like, okay, I'll read into it. I ended up buying the book on Amazon, and then all these things about crystals kept popping up, and I was like, okay, what is this? My grandmother has always collected crystals, like different types of crystals. And to me, I felt like it was just like decoration for her home, which she did confirm. Like, she loved the look of crystals. Her favorite is jade, so she always kept that on her in her house, in her car, purse. So she's always had good luck. She would win all these contests that she'd enter, and she just had really good luck all around her. She'd have huge jade statues all over her home. Growing up, crystals never really interested me as much as they do now, but I understand why. So yeah, that kept coming up in my feed, and I was like, okay, maybe I want to get to know more about it. And then I decided to take a trip to a metaphysical store. When I walked into the store, I was just like, wow, this is amazing. Like, the smell, like, it just like captured my spirit, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like I feel that feeling of being welcomed and just feeling really good all around, and just positivity. It was just there. Crazy thing is, a lady came up to me and she goes, have you ever gotten a reading? Have you ever met with a psychic? I've always been so iffy about it these past couple of years, but it does interest me. So I was like, you know what, why not? Why not? I was just following wherever like that day led me to. Whatever popped up, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I ended up opting in for a 30-minute reading. I will definitely do another video on this. Oh my god, it was really crazy, like crazy in a good way. But I will do a separate video on that, on my experience with the psychic. That day, I ended up buying some crystals. The first crystal that I was drawn to was the pyrite. That's like the first crystal that I picked up. I got some other crystals. I remember getting a jade, rose quartz, all like the main ones to like always have on you. And so I ended up purchasing those. I also bought some incense. They suggested like which chakra I needed to work on during the reading. I bought some books as well. I purchased the Chakra Awakening. That's like the first book that I purchased under chakras and like understanding it But I will definitely do another video as well on my books. I have them up here. I have so many things I want to share with you guys, and so yeah, that will definitely be one. And yeah, I just left the store that day feeling so good. I would definitely say like I felt relief, like weight off my shoulder for some reason. I was like, why am I only knowing these things now? Like I feel so good. The problems I had, I was still dealing with them, but it's like the weight wasn't there like the night before. It was just a crazy, crazy experience. I don't know how to describe it still till this day. Like, I'll try to describe it as good as I remember. Days after that, I started to read into books. I started getting into more documentaries. I would chant and then burn some incense, meditate with my crystals. I was really new to this back then, and you know, I just like would take like classes online and how to do this, how to meditate, how to just do all certain types of things when you're entering like your spirituality. The following month, it was January 2021, one of my aunts was like, do you want to go on a trip? We're going to Vegas. It would be good for you, you know, let off some load and unwind and just have a really good time with us aunts. And I was like, you know what? It would not hurt to take a trip with them. I would love to, like I needed it. I think it was a 4-day trip in Vegas. We just had like an amazing time while we were there. Going on that trip as well took a load off of me. We were going around visiting the different hotels and it was just so fun. And we came across this like kiosk. It was a metaphysical, like spiritual store that sold like the tools, mainly in jewelry. So I was like, okay, I love rose quartz, I love pyrite, jade. Those were my main ones. And I was like, okay, let's go see what they have. They had some like really pretty things. And I was like, okay, wow, that's a sign. I loved seeing that and I was so attracted to it. So we took a look. I didn't purchase anything. We went into that hotel and found the even bigger store. This store had even like bigger things, singing bowls, more jewelry, like more spiritual tools that were needed. And so I was like really drawn. They had those crystal trees, they had different sizes, and I was just like so drawn to it. And I was like, this is a sign, you know, I'm loving it. This is going to be a really great trip. And so I went home, and then the following week later, I get an email. This email was asking to, you know, sponsor me, and if I wanted to be one of their influencers, they'd send me a bunch of jewelry and work with me and, you know, get paid and all of that. And I was like, okay, wow. When I looked at the name, like the logo looks so familiar. When I looked at the name, oh my God, like it was the freaking store from freaking Vegas, the spiritual metaphysical store that sold all that jewelry. I was like, oh my God, I want to work with you guys. Like, yes, I would love to. Like, it was such a blessing, you know? And like, you know, little things kept like following here and there. I started to get more brand deals. I started to get more emails on sponsorships and all of this other stuff. And I was like, you know what? This is a sign. Like, I'm going to dive into it and take what comes, what interests me, what matches like my niche and stuff like that. And so I was like, okay, ended up taking that deal. And oh my gosh, like it was amazing. I loved working with them. It was definitely such a blessing. I'm so grateful I did that. But yeah, like they say that when you have like a spiritual awakening, it's like a roller coaster. You have so many highs, like especially in the beginning, like you get all these blessings and all these like positive things. But then like once you start getting into it and diving deeper, it like takes a dip. Definitely, I will recommend you guys watch The Heart Alchemist. I'm just gonna throw that in there. She definitely helped me with my spiritual awakening and how to navigate. So a few months later, like things started to take a dip and like things were going downhill again. And I was like, okay, what is going on, you know? And so I started to read more into it, and The Heart Alchemist really helped me. She mentioned how it's not always going to be beautiful and all these blessings. That's not where it stops. Like it gets deeper and deeper. I was at a low like a few months later, and like I experienced some crazy things, and it's to the point where I was like, you know, where is all of this coming from? A perfect example would be like if I was sitting there not doing anything, and like all this craziness was just like coming in like noise. I was learning like a whole new part about myself and how to deal with situations. It's like being put through a test basically. One thing that I truly am grateful, having awareness, like having awareness in myself, where my position is in situations, and my main goal is how can I become a better person, throughout all of this. What am I going to learn? What am I going to take from this? And how am I going to be a better person? Mainly, how am I treating other people? I don't want to be coming out as a negative person who doesn't take ownership of their actions. Knowing like how you are in general, like overall as a person, and treating people good. Not to say like you're gonna become a pushover and let people step all over you. It's basically looking at the situation from the outside in and seeing how you are as a person, how you are reacting, how to handle situations. Growing up, I have truly always been like a sensitive person. Like someone can say something to me and I'd be so hurt. Like I'd go home letting it bother me all the way up until I slept. Even up until now, there are times where I do let the noise of other people get to me. But honestly, this whole spirituality has definitely made me even stronger, mainly as a person and how I am within my relationships. I always look at it like if we have a disagreement, like I want to talk about whether I made you feel hurt, or if I did something to make you feel hurt. I want to talk it out in order to become stronger and better people. Of course, to make sure that things like that don't happen again. And through this awareness, I learned a lot about myself growing up, being mature about things, knowing when to ignore certain things, certain people. And it's just made me so much grateful because I'm able to tune out and still be in my peace. That is the number one thing that I'm so grateful for, is my awareness. I am so grateful internally. Another thing that I have learned through all this is how to truly live your happiest life and going for the goals and all the dreams like you've ever had and giving it a shot. There are some things that I've taken on that I was so passionate about, only to realize that it wasn't something that I wanted to do. It would steer me in a different direction. Manifestation is definitely something that I am also grateful for. Going to the places that you feel your heart belongs, and mine is my happy place here in Los Angeles. When I was living in Washington, I would always say like, oh, I'm gonna move back there, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, my kids are gonna do this, and I'm gonna let them try these things out, and here we are. I'm so grateful for making it all happen and believing in myself. My spirituality has definitely played a big role in where I am today and how I am as a person. My journey has definitely been so overwhelming with blessings and of course obstacles. They're there to push you and motivate you and make you learn all these lessons that you need to become who you are. I feel like I'm just scratching like the surface. There's so much that I need to know and need to learn. I feel like Instagram and social media does play a huge role because that's where my algorithm put me where I am today. It's what pushed this whole like awakening. So I watched the documentary, and to some people it is actually a phase or some kind of like style. But to me, I feel like it's so much stronger than that. You really have to take what you learn and apply it in your everyday life. It is truly becoming wiser and just cleansing your soul and who you are as a person. And that's why I truly believe people change because of certain situations. They mature, they grow up, they go through spirituality, and becoming aware is like the first step to all of that. And yeah, that was my journey on how this all started. I honestly feel like I'm still going through it. There's so much that I have to go through, whether it's highs or lows, because there's so much that we have to learn every day. To those who are going through it, keep going through it because eventually you'll get through it. I did, and I still am. And you're gonna be okay. You're definitely gonna be okay. Just keep your head up and keep moving forward. Thank you guys for hearing my journey and listening to me speak today on my experiences. I truly am grateful for your time. And if you'd like this video, definitely subscribe and stay tuned for more videos. I'm so excited to be filming so much more. I'm so grateful that I finally had done this. I've been going back and forth on how I'm going to introduce this video and what I'm going to talk about. I just had to find the right time on when to put it out. Thank you guys for watching today, and I will see you on the next video. Bye!